This is a short demonstration and overview of the new GMG Photoshop plugin for packaging and its relationship to open color separation. The new Photoshop plugin for packaging has several key features. The primary use of this, we think, is CMYK or RGB to any four colors of output. We can use this to create optimized CMYK separations for flexo printing. We can reduce the total inks in the job by taking out one of the primaries and replacing it with one of the Pantone colors in the job. And we could reseparate jobs to use up ink inventory. There's also a channel removal tool, which is very helpful in certain kinds of flexo printing. Min dot controls, setting min dots or clipping dots, and these can be applied through masks and layers, and the min dot preview, which shows us what we might need to work on in our min dot areas. Let's talk about reseparation for a moment. Here's an input job with 8 colors, CMYK plus 4 Pantone colors. It's possible in this new technology to eliminate the CMYK entirely and reseparate the job so it just printed the 4 Pantone colors and eliminated the entire CMYK. This reduces the amount of press stations needed, so with this technology you can make a job fit on a press that may have too many colors in it. We can also use it to do things like use up excess ink inventory. In the example above, we have the Pantone brown color 7517, and we can use this up in the place of black by reseparating it to use the brown as black. We can also reduce other consumables in the process, printing plates, and reduce make-readies because we have less ink stations. The steps of the process I'm going to show you today are creating a new profile in open color, using this profile to convert an image with the Photoshop plugin, and then remap the colors of the image in hybrid packs. We're in the open color project menu. I have a project I've created here that we're going to use for separation. So this particular project is flexo printing on a with white ink with a metallic undercoat. The inks in this job are process yellow and magenta, 299 blue, and 732 brown. So in this case, we're going to replace 2 of the primaries with 2 Pantone colors. These Pantone colors came out of the Pantone library. I just selected these out of the library itself inside of Open Color, which is very helpful for creating separations quickly. I've set this up for the Epson proofing condition with the SCP 7000 printer and calculated the color space profiles. So this is regular open color at this point, but then we now have the separation functionality, which is another tab. If I use the separation tab above, it takes me into separations. It pulls the target color space from the proofing section we were just in. So in this case we have these yellow, magenta, blue, and brown. And I built a couple of different profiles here. I have Grackle to the 4 colors, and I also have a sRGB to the same 4 colors. There are a few different things about open color separation that were not in open color previously. One of the major changes is the ink settings window. And because we're making separations, we have to set this up so we know exactly how to map the colors. So as you can see here, we have our screen angles, line screen, our gradation curves. We have our process mapping, and this tells the system exactly how to separate the colors. Once I have my window set up, I say calculate and I create a profile. This profile can be one of two types. It can be an MX4X, which is for the Macintosh Photoshop plugin, or I can save as MX4 for the PC version of the Photoshop plugin, or for GMG Color Server. I can save this into my directory. I have this set up to automatically save into my Photoshop plugin directory. And I'm ready to go to use the plugin. I'm now in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how the plugin works. So under the File, Automate menu, I see the GMG plugin menu, channel removal, color correction, min.adjust, and min.preview. We're going to do color conversion or reseparation to start with. Like I said, we just created a profile a minute ago. This particular picture is an sRGB file. And so I'm going to pick up the profile to convert sRGB to the new 4-color space we just created in OpenColor. That's the MX4 I just made. I say OK. It processes the file, and now we have reseparated the file from the original sRGB to, here's the RGB file. I can see my RGB window in my properties area, and the color converted file shows the CMYK data. Now this isn't really CMYK, remember, because we have two Pantone colors in it, but Photoshop can't display those colors that way, and for that we're going to use hybrid packs. But the conversion process is very simple. Select the image or the mask area or the layer. Select the profile you're going to use that was created in OpenColor and simply process the image. I'm now in hybrid packs. Packs is a PDF editing software package available from Hybrid Software. And I'm using it in this case to remap the channels that we created in the Photoshop plugin a minute ago. So what we have here is I have 3 images. This is the original RGB image on the right. I can see that it's RGB as an assets window. I can see the values here with the eyedropper tool. If I look at the one in the center, I see this is the one we've reseparated with the 2 Pantone colors, replacing black for brown and 299 blue for cyan. And I can see the values in this separation. And then additionally, I separated one to swap, so I can see this is CMYK. And now I have CMYK, custom separation in the center, and the original sRGB file on the right. The RGB file is more saturated, as we would expect an RGB file to be, but the reseparated custom separation looks very similar to the 4-color separation, which is exactly the objective when we're doing reseparation. We want the actual image to look like the CMYK image or the source image, so we can use inks and not really let anybody know we're using these inks, and therefore reducing the amount of inks and consumables in a job. To show you how we remap separations just inside of packs, I will use the swap version here. So I use the asset window and I select a channel, let's say cyan. I can use the remap separation button and then navigate to the particular color I need and say remap. And now I have remapped the cyan channel in this separation to 299, as you can see. This concludes our short tour of the new GMG Photoshop plugin for packaging, its use with GMG open color separation, and I showed you a couple of things inside of hybrid packs. In this demonstration, we created a new profile in open color, eliminating 2 process colors, replacing them with 2 Pantone colors in this case. We then used this profile to convert the image with the Photoshop plugin and then remap those colors in hybrid packs. GMG continues to lead in advanced color separation tools for the complex industry of packaging.